Hey y'all, I'm back today with another legacy video, and today I am playing Painter. This is a mono red painter list that is a bit of a traditional list. It does not have a lot of the new toys that painter players have come to favor. This is a deck by MTGO user and YouTube content creator Lightwalker, who is, as I record this video, the trophy leader on Magic Online with lists that all look pretty similar to this. And I'm pretty excited to play this deck. It is a deck that has 8 copies of Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast in the main deck. It has 2 copies of Imperial Recruiter, which I have a mismatched set of right here. 1 main deck Magus of the Moon and 3 Karn the Great Creators. In the sideboard, the Karn package has an extra copy of Grindstone, the 4th total copy, another Ensnaring Bridge, Mycosynth Lattice as the Karn kill of choice, and then some cards to help against combo, which will really be the weakness of this deck. So a couple copies of Mindbreak Trap, a couple Fairy Macabre, and some removal against creature decks. Painter, as you can imagine, is a deck that's very near and dear to my heart, with my username being Grindstone-Cowboy. And, you know, it's fallen out of favor for me personally over the years, just because I guess have always had the curiosity to try new things. At this point, you know, I really have come to value cantrips, value force of will, things like that. And so I do have to imagine that for the time being, my gaming decks of choice will be blue decks, but it's really encouraging to see Robert Lightwalker doing so well with this list, and just amazing at how few of the new painter cards there are in this. So there's no Sewer Valence Cam, which does make the mana base a bit better. There's no Skateboard. There's not even any copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is a bit of a shocker to me. But I think that if you really understand what you're doing with Painter, you can do really well with a deck like this. If you run into a lot of blue decks, you are so prepared. And so I'm excited to see how this goes. I think that if I were building a Painter deck today, I would probably start with Fable of the Mirror Breaker over Karn, but I'm very out of practice with Painter. I don't really know, you know, what the gameplay will be like in this exact meta to have any sort of educated statement about that. So I'm happy to go with Lightwalker's list here, and let's hope that the league goes well. All right, match 1, I am on the play. And this hand needs a little bit of action, but I'm definitely going to keep. This does threaten a turn 2 Karn. And if nothing else, starting from turn 3 onward, I can grind myself to try to get artifacts in the yard to play with Goblin Welder. If this was a Goblin Engineer or a Painter, this would be a much better hand, but can't really mull it. My opponent is on 61 cards. I really hope they're not oops. But game 1, as a Painter player, there's not a whole lot I would have to say against oops. They are mulling, so it's a little scary, but that's just how it goes. It would be my luck to pair into oops first round, playing Painter, which really, you know, you need force of will. So I've kept 5, so I could very well just be dead here. If I can get the Karn online, though, next turn, I'll feel pretty good about that. I can't imagine I get a turn, though, without at least getting Thought Seized. But if this Once Upon a Time bricks in some way, then maybe it'll be good. Karn can get Tormod's Crypt. Endurance, okay. So this is more like a Cradle Control, I guess. Just on a multi-5, sure. Okay, Pyroblast, not excellent. So I could get Karn. Karn could get Bridge. Bridge is probably the best thing that I can do. I'm happy to chump this Goblin Welder to keep Dryad Arbor from doing damage to Karn, since Welder really isn't doing anything, especially with Endurance in hand. I could go Karn and then plus Karn. I would hate for them to have like a Grist or something, though. I think I will go ahead and play the Karn out and then minus the Karn and get Ensnaring Bridge. I have to hope that this deck doesn't play Wasteland, or that they at least don't have Wasteland. And if I get this Karn protected by a bridge, I'll feel pretty good. I will say, I feel like Painter is a deck that requires a lot of practice and a lot of reps. And even though I've played a ton of Painter in my days, every time I pick up Painter, I just feel really rusty. And I feel like I don't have the best pulse on the exact lines to take, say, with like a Goblin Engineer ETB or something like that. And so if this is a deck that you feel strongly you'd like to play, you need to be prepared to get in a lot of reps. And if you do, it can be very rewarding. And right now the deck does seem pretty well positioned if you are a good player of the deck. But if you're not a good player of the deck, it'll never be well positioned. You'll always be struggling. Okay, Talon Gates phasing out Welder is fine. Really, just as long as Karn gets to live, I'll be happy. And it looks like Karn will live. And Collector, oof, that stinks, but that Pyroblast will actually be pretty good in that sense. Okay, and another land is fantastic. So I'm gonna plus Karn with no target, and then pretty much just empty my hand, because I can play Welder, Grindstone, and Bridge this turn. And double Welder will mean that this Endurance isn't that good if they can remove the Bridge. And I can withstand the hits from the Dryad Arbor, like especially with Karn being able to uptick here. As things stand, I just don't mind not really getting much value off the Karn. But then if I decide I want to get that Lattice, for instance, I could do that. And on Magic Online, like, this would be kind of a brutal way to win, but like, if I Lattice lock us both out of the game and I'm up on the clock, the onus is on them to concede. So, okay, is that worth it, the play that I just said? I feel like, I don't know. If I Lattice lock, no, it's not worth it, because eventually I won't have an empty hand and they can start attacking. So I can't really make that play. I think what I have to do probably is just plus the Karn. I could maybe get Disruptor Flute, name like Grist the Hunger Tide, name White of the Reliquary. For right now, I'll just plus and pass. I don't think they're going to swing in with that Collector Oof. And yeah, not even casting the Endurance, because the double Welders is pretty threatening. Though they would need double Endurance. Another land. And no attacks. Okay, Goblin Engineer. That's definitely something I want to see. Probably just going to get a Painter. And then I'll keep plussing the Karn. And I'll save this Ancient Tomb for next turn. I could have minus there and gotten an artifact other than Bridge that I didn't care about to put in the graveyard. So that was actually probably a better play than what I did. Okay, Wasteland is not bad. Dragon Engine. Let's see. I'm going to minus the Karn. And I'm going to get Disruptor Flute and cast Disruptor Flute. And this will prompt some action here of some kind. If I name Endurance, they can still like double cast. I'll just name Wasteland. And then I'm gonna attempt to bring back the painter now. I'll name Blue. And now I would say things are looking pretty good. I'll be pyroblasting the oof. Hopefully they don't have like Talon gates. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna weld out the bridge and weld in Disruptor Flute. And with the Disruptor Flute, I'm going to name Talon gates so that they can't surprise phase out their oof. Of course, if they phased out the oof, that wouldn't be the end of the world either. So I'll name Talon Gates of Madara, and then destroy the blue collector oof. Okay, that worked. Okay, a petal. So I will play out the petal. That's another red source. I probably won't need that. But now with this card, I'm going to minus, and I'm going to get Tormod's Crypt. The reason I'm getting Tormod's Crypt is now it looks like that Endurance is going to be used to put their deck back into their library. And Tormod's Crypt will prevent that. I don't really think I need to attack here. I'm just going to pass to their turn, and then on their upkeep, activate Grindstone, target them. All right, and then scoop it up. So even though it was a non-blue deck, Pyroblast came in clutch after finding that painter. Okay, so I don't think there's a ton of stuff I want to do differently here. I do think I want Pithing Needle in the main deck. And then all of these removal spells. So that's 6 cards, possibly. I think I want to get rid of these free artifacts because Collector Roof makes those total dead cards. But I definitely also don't want all of these blasts. I could see maybe leaving in Lotus Petal and going down to 4 blasts against a non-blue deck. That already seems like plenty. I'll try that. Actually, while I'm here, I think one more thing I'll do, I'll bring in Disruptor Flute and take out Soul Guide Lantern. Don't really need Graveyard Hate against this deck, so I'm a little rusty with sideboarding procedures with Painter, but I think this is presenting a reasonable deck. All right, this hand is very mediocre, but I can save that Bolt for an important card. I have good mana, and Karn again feels like a really good card in this matchup, with Dragon Engine being a really good blocker to protect Karn. So even though Dragon Engine sucks as a card to have in your opening hand, I think that in this exact hand, it works. I can also make constructs. I like that tomb. I'll just play out a mountain and pass. I'm not going to bolt Dryad Arbor, but I'm hoping that they play out something important this turn that is boltable, like White of the Reliquary or something like that. But no matter what, if they don't play out a white or an oof or something like that, like White has to untap. So I'll be able to bolt it kind of at my leisure. This is just the best turn for my spending of my mana. This looks like a possible white right here. All right, there's White of the Reliquary. And I think it would be very hard for them to protect it from a bolt. Right now, I'm just going to bolt in response. So, yeah, I won't let them phase it out. Talon Gates kind of gets wasted there. Okay, Goblin Welder is cool as well. I don't know how important the Saga will be. So I could play out Saga as a bit of a wasteland bait. Yeah, I will do that, and then I'll play Goblin Welder. Hopefully they don't play something like Bowmaster. But now that I have Goblin Welder, that Dragon Engine has such higher potential. But the longer I wait to play out Goblin Welder, obviously, the less effective Goblin Welder is, so... Snuff Out. Yeah, if it just eats a Snuff Out, that's totally fine. And Snuff Out is good to know about, because now I can name black with painter, though that makes the pyroblast basically useless. So if I have a pyroblast in hand, I would probably name blue, but otherwise I should be naming black. No combat there. Makes me think they want to hold up something, maybe. Okay, Imperial Recruiter is probably a better play. And then the question is, do I need to play out Tomb? I don't think so. I think I'll play out Mountain and Recruiter. That'll save some life. And then I'll get Painter. And then next turn with a Soul Land, I can actually win the game. So I'll have to see how they handle this. They might not realize how close they are to losing. Of course, they could also just get rid of the Saga, in which case I would go Karn next turn. Let's see. What are the chances that they have something that would stop my combo, like a Force of Vigor or something like that? It's probably somewhat high. So I'm going to just search here. I'll get Grindstone. I'll play Ancient Tomb. I'll cast Karn. I'm gonna minus Karn. Get Ensnaring Bridge. And then I'm gonna play this Painter out and name black. And this gives me a couple blockers. It also gives me the win next turn with Painter Grindstone, and then I can also Lattice Lock my opponent with the Karn. So even though I didn't go for the win there, I'm now threatening the win in a couple different ways. And I've nullified one of their removal spells. Okay, seeing Bajuka Bog come out of hand is pretty sweet. That's not a very good card in this exact moment. They can't swing with the Dryad Arbor into the Painter. But I don't like seeing them fetch here. Makes me think they might go natural order. Okay, getting oof, I guess. Well, I did allow them to do this. So now, okay, another Saga is great. I can Lattice, but that would lock us both out of the game. I can play the Saga and play Bridge. I think I'll do that. And then just plus the Karn. I just think I'm liable to find removal for oof before they can get out of the jam that I'm putting them in. And if the Saga pops, I can Needle Boseiju. Ignoble Hierarch, not great. I guess it means their oof can attack, because the Exalted happens once it attacks. And they're attacking Karn. I think this is where I chump with Imperial Recruiter. There's another Imperial Recruiter. I think I want to play that Recruiter. Probably get Goblin Welder. I could also get Magus of the Moon, which would nearly lock them out of the game. I'm not mad at that, actually, though. It would prevent my Saga from popping. I think I will get Magus, though. It's certainly more fun. So now they have no green mana except for Ignoble Hierarch. They just really didn't play around that at all. And I have infinite constructs if this sticks. Ironically locked behind an Ensnaring Bridge, but they can only win by getting rid of the Ensnaring Bridge, and then I'll have a ton of constructs by then. And then I'll just plus the Karn. So at any point, a top deck Bolt wins me the game. Looks like no play. Simian Spirit Guide. I guess I'll play out the Dragon Engine, as that's actually closer to being able to attack. The Dragon Engine can attack all of this stuff and then be the thing that slowly kills them. And I'll just keep plussing the Karn. And I can make constructs whenever I want. It's not like they can attack anyway. So Dragon Engine feels like the more direct line to victory. Okay, Birds of Paradise. That is another mana source. Another Saga. I don't think there's anything in my sideboard I want to get. It's all kind of lost because of the oof. So I guess I'll go to combat. Attack with Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Plus the Karn, no target. Play out this Urza Saga, and then pass. And if I want to prevent attacking entirely, I technically can't because they could attack with a 0/1, which would become a 1/2, but I can exile the Spirit Guide at any point. I probably also could have attacked with Magus there, because I would happily trade the Oof for the Magus when I have Painter Grindstone held up. Abrupt Decay, the Magus of the Moon. Sure. So that means I'm going to get a Needle off of this next turn. Though I wish I'd gotten to make more of the infinite constructs. Make a construct. Back to my turn. Make a construct. Get Needle. I think I will name Boseiju. I don't think I'm too concerned about White of the Reliquary right now. Go to combat. Attack with Dragon Engine. They go to 6. This time I'm actually going to plus targeting the Grindstone, just to put an extra bit of power on board. And I'm not going to worry about playing out the tomb and sacking the city. They can't really attack into my constructs. Talon Gates, putting it on to the battlefield and getting rid of one construct seems fine. Doesn't seem like that's very purposeful. It doesn't remove it. It will come back. So at this point in the game, they have to clear the bridge and probably have natural order, which is a tough ask, but possible. Grist is a good start. There's no one thing they can kill with the Grist. I guess the Painter is probably the best thing to kill. They may go after the Karn, though. Yeah, that's fine. Karn wasn't really doing anything. I am going to have to send everything at Grist, though. But I get to make a construct. There's another Karn right away. I guess I'm still making a construct. Search the library. I guess I'll just get Desk. I don't think I can attack with the Painter, just in case they have something like Endurance. But I will attack with both of these things. And if they want to keep the Grist around, they have to block with both of these, or if they have Endurance, they could play that out. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Block the Oof with this. I didn't think about that. So they will keep the Grist around. I'll play Karn out. That'll allow me to create more attackers. I'll plus target the Desk this time so that the Grindstone can be a bit more protected. And carry on. Eventually, they probably will have to block with the Oof on the Dragon Engine if I keep going like this. Okay. I also could make a bit of a risky play. I don't know what creature removal they would have that's not Snuff Out, so I'm actually going to plus target Ensnaring Bridge. And I'm going to attack the Grist with all of these. They could kill the Painter, and then if they have Snuff Out the Ensnaring Bridge. But then they have to get through 40 power of constructs, and their board would be pretty small. Okay, looks like they're letting Grist die and letting Painter live. This is all stuff I'm happy about. And then I'm going to cast Simian Spirit Guide and pass the turn. If they have another Grist, they can take out the Ensnaring Bridge. Blight of the Reliquary, but no, that's not Needled. I needled Boseiju. And this thing is a 6/6. It's getting interesting. Okay, another Painter. So I could attack, like with their life total being what it is, I could attack with Dragon Engine, Oof, and Painter. And maybe Mishra's Research Desk to push some damage. I'm not going to do the bridge because I don't want to attack with the bridge and let them kill it. Though that might be in my favor here. But I'm just going to attack with all of these things. They're liable to block here and maybe here. But yeah, their life total is just getting low. Yeah, that was a logical block. And yeah, that makes sense. So they'll take 3. I'll play another painter out. This one I'll name blue so that I can potentially pyroblast the collector oof, and then I'll play out the other grindstone so that the oof can't attack. I also could next turn plus an attack with the bridge, with the idea being to lattice lock them once I have all these constructs that can attack. Okay, another painter. So this turn, if I escape the dragon engine, draw 3, attack with possibly 5 creatures, they could like block with the white. Let's start by trying to escape dragon engine and just see what happens. Okay, that works. Okay, bunch of lands. I will plus the Karn on grindstone. I'll use my extra mana to play out this grindstone. And then I'll swing out with all of this stuff. They have to block the dragon engine. Okay, endurance, sure. For what it's worth, I'm also just going to time them out at this point. And Snaring Bridge is a heck of a magic card. So they probably want to block whichever painter they fear more. Or just Simian Spirit Guide, sure. So if they, okay. So they're going to let me keep both painters, go to 2, perhaps go to 1. Yeah, go to 2. Maybe they Talon Gates this one, but they have both Talon Gates already. This thing, I don't really understand. I guess with Earthbend too, they could start doing shenanigans with Talon Gates again. I'm not 100% sure. Ignoble, sure. Earthbend the Talon Gates, it becomes a 2/2, but then they don't really have any attacks. Okay, another opportunity to play a Painter Servant here makes me want to name probably just blue again. And then I still don't think there's anything I really want from the Karn. I could attack with the bridge, but I don't really think that's serving me to do anything. I think I'm content to just let them time out. Like, I'll just preserve the status quo of this situation. And if they do nothing, they'll time out. That's sort of a lame way to win. But when you play Ensnaring Bridge, you know, you have to be willing to win that way. Earthbending, another thing. So lots of blockers. Really, this is coming down to the fact that I keep bricking on removal for the oof. Okay, there's Pyroblast. So what happens if I Pyroblast the oof? Okay, Bossing C is doing something here. Talon Gates on 1 painter. Okay. And then if they do it on the other painter naming blue, then neither of them are blue. That's pretty smart. Suppose I'm plussing the Karn and then passing. So I can't really ever kill the oof, I guess, because they can just do this thing over again. But they are passing the turn. Okay, another city. I do think I'm now going to start playing lands out. Plus the Karn. And I'll pass. It's been a lengthy first game. Green Suns for 1, sure. Maybe getting Sylvan Safekeeper. Birds of Paradise, okay. Don't really know what that accomplishes. Okay, and then Bossing C. Another Pyroblast. Guess I'm just passing. Yeah, I'll just keep holding this Pyroblast until I can Needle White. And if I can't, again, the clock is very much in my favor here. Okay, attacking me with the Birds of Paradise. Sure, I suppose that is something you can do. And I guess they're going to get another ignoble so that they can keep attacking for more. So I guess they realize they missed a point of damage there. Sure, bossing, see another Talon Gates, and then passing. Another Karn. I'll just play out this city, plus, and then I'll pass. So all those goblins are still in my deck as well. Yeah, they might actually, they might actually have time to win this game. Another mountain, I'll just hold it. I'm not even going to mess around with the Karn. Then there's Goblin Engineer. I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to bossing see the Bajuka Bog, though. So I don't really think this Engineer is that good. This might be Endurance right now. Just not even going to let me think about it. Sure. Suppose I could have Pyroblasted that, but it's the same issue of the double whites getting rid of my painters. So I take another 2 damage. They are going to win this game. I mean, time could interfere with that, but like they would win it. Saga, I guess I'll just play out as a Saga. And I'll pass. I will take the damage here, but I think next turn I'm going to Pyroblast it. Ooh, there's a Braid. So could I possibly win here? I don't think so. I think what I'll do is Pyroblast the bird, and then when they Talon Gates my painter, I'll just abrade the bird. So destroy this blue permanent, and they just scoop it up. Well, I think they could have done the same thing that they did to save the bird, but they probably are also realizing that the time just isn't going to work out for them. So anyway, good games. Definitely an ensnaring bridge match there, but I do love ensnaring bridge, and it really works well with the Magic Online clock. All right, I'm on the play for match 2. Yeah, this hand seems good. Probably turn 1 is Mountain Go, holding up Blast. Turn 2 could be Painter, with Blast open after that, or Slam Magus of the Moon. I think I'll hold the Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, Urza's Tower, Manifold Key. So I think I want to Slam Magus. I would be very sad. Ooh, Karn. That's excellent. That actually might change what I want to do. Now I think I want to go Painter on blue. Possibly even just blast this land. And then next turn Karn. Painter on blue. I will just blast the land. Maybe that's a bit aggressive. But as long as they don't, like, one ring, or I don't know, it really doesn't matter with a one ring even this turn. Okay, Needle, I think you have to name Grindstone here. And then Karn should just wreck this board. And then the following turn I can Lattice. I think I just plus the Karn. I actually can't get the Lattice this turn. I'll see if there's anything that's worth getting this turn. I don't know how they could get rid of the Karn. So I think it's fine to just plus and then attack with Painter. And then the plan is to Lattice Lock this turn. Okay. Disrupt. Oh, that's brutal. I guess they're going to name Karn. Yeah. Okay. Well, now here's where Magus of the Moon will hopefully come in handy. Because now I feel like their best route to victory was making constructs. They could still have Grim Monolith. And then they would still be able to do quite a bit. Trinisphere is fine. I have 3 mana. And now I think I just want to push damage with Dragon Engine. Okay, they have 4 mana. They can One Ring, but they can't do anything with the One Ring. So this just buys them a turn. So that means next turn I can just go Engineer. And then I guess I'll get maybe Bridge. Maybe maybe just Grindstone. Yeah, none of these things are great, so I'll get a Grindstone. It means that if I happen to top deck a Pyroblast, I have that as a win. Okay, another land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana now. They can't cast a Kozilek's command. Now they can. So now it's getting a little precarious, actually. Opal, not fantastic. I might want to draw cards with Dragon Engine next turn. So I probably should not attack with the Welder, with the Engineer. If they have an Ugin next turn, they can exile any permanent they want. I'll just play out Mox Opal. And then I can't cast Lion's Eye Diamond right now. I could, but then I would have to use the Lion's Eye Diamond to activate. I also do have 8 damage on board. So what's that last card in hand? I think I want to continue with the plan. And what I'll do is upkeep, bring in Dragon Engine right now. And I should do that by tapping Mox Opal and then sacking Mox Opal. So now I'll draw 3. Okay. Plus draw step, kind of a dud. But now it pretty much has to be like One Ring would get them a turn. They could find Ugin. Oh yeah, they can't activate the Monolith. I was thinking about that as being an issue, but the Karn is still doing something in play. I'll just play out Desk, as I can activate the Desk. I'll do that now. Don't really want either of those, but I guess I'll take the Great Furnace. All right, moment of truth here. That is 7 mana. Okay. Yeah, I think if I hadn't lost track of the fact that Grim Monolith couldn't tap for mana, I should have just left my lethal board. And not worried about drawing the cards. Okay, I like a Braid. That can hit some artifacts. Needle and Flute are probably necessary for the One Ring. I don't think I'm going to need Ensnaring Bridge. And probably not all of these blasts, though this could be a heinous enough matchup that blasts are actually like kind of good. I don't need Soul Guide Lantern. I might bring in a Bolt over that. Bolt could hit possibly a Construct, possibly their own Karn. I will take out one more blast for one more Bolt. All right, this hand, kind of awkward. But its strength versus the One Ring, I think, makes it a keep. Okay, turn 1 Monolith. So they are off to the races. Okay, Welder is good. Am I maybe supposed to go Spirit Guide, Welder, Tomb, hold up, Flute? It's a little aggressive, but I think I need to do that. There's no point in fluting Kozilek's command, because they don't need that much more mana to hit the Welder. I think they would just need 1 more mana, and then they could do that. So it's really just for the One Ring. Oh man, is this already Ugin? Oh my god, turn 2 Ugin? That's crazy. Well, I guess I'm going to flute it. But it's not good, because it still gets that whenever you cast trigger. So I guess the plan is to keep the board clear of colored permanents until such a time as I can clear the Ugin or just win the game. Okay, that's pretty good. So I think I am going to hold. So if I Recruiter this turn, go Mountain Recruiter. Then I have Painter in play. It's still a couple turns. I think I'm going to Dragon Engine because I do want to get this Ugin dead. Once I have the Ugin dead, it really doesn't matter. But the other reason why I chose this line is I didn't want to have to lose the City of Traders to have red mana. All right, Karn the Great Creator is brutal. That's probably what I now have to send my Phyrexian Dragon Engine at. Yeah, you can plus it, but unless you have removal for Dragon Engine, attack Karn, and then I'll play Recruiter, but I won't play the Grindstone. I have plenty of mana to combo. I don't want them to know how close to dead they are. And I don't think I can go for Magus. I think it has to be Painter. If they can't kill Dragon Engine this turn, then Karn goes. They could minus the Karn and get like a Needle or something. And then Needle Grindstone. Trinisphere stinks. But that's not the end of the world. That also, as things stand, taps them off of, okay, using Trinisphere as a blocker. That's pretty good. Okay, my own Karn. I think I am going to go for the Karn. And then I'm going to minus. I'm going to get Ensnaring Bridge. Play this. Play the bridge. And then I will attack the Karn. I'm going to make them trade here. They could Lattice Lock. And I would probably have to scoop to that because I'm down on the clock. If I wasn't down on the clock, actually, I don't think I would have to scoop. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Because now we're both locked out, but I time out if we keep playing. So they got me. So now I know for sure they have Karn. I think I'm going to just run it back. I think I could have played that game differently and won. I guess if I knew that they had Ugin, I could have like preemptively named Ugin with the flute, and then they wouldn't have been able to cast it for a little while longer. Yeah, I'll keep this. I could turn one Painter, kind of YOLO. I think I am going to do that. Because I think if I let this game go for any amount of time, I'm going to be in trouble. So they would have to have like removal or a flute or something like that this turn. Doesn't look like they have it. Play Grindstone. Play Mountain. Exile Spirit Guide. Grindstone you? Oh man, they have Emrakul. I guess that wasn't the most far-fetched thing. That sucks. I can try again soon. This flute will help bridge the gap to that time. But that's a tilt. Because I could like have way more mana. I might need the mana in order to combo off again. Definitely a blowout. Braid is not bad. But I think this turn I need to get down Goblin Engineer. And just get Dragon Engine. I have to rebuild. Alright, they now have a lot more mana. And I definitely don't have Graveyard Hate that this Saga can get. All my Graveyard Hate is in the sideboard. So I'll have to find a Karn if I'm going to combo like that. This is so unfortunate. And those are the sort of things where, like, if you have a lot of reps with Painter, you're going to know exactly which decks have Emrakul randomly in their deck. This is a pretty reasonable deck to have Emrakul, so. Alright, they're exiling cards from my graveyard. And killing my Painter. So not left with very much here. No land is really rough. Just gonna pass. Monolith. I'm gonna flute Ugin in response. Try to make that play that I should have been bold enough to make last game. But this is not looking good. I think they just have the mana to cast it. Karn. Yeah, and then what is this, 6 mana? Yeah, so I'm gonna get locked out of the game by Lattice. So Yeah, super unfortunate here. I can like get a needle, but they're not locked out of the game. So like anything that they're able to conjure up in the next 17 turns, I guess I'll play to it. And ironically, if I had just held up a braid there, I could have abraded this. But what I can do is attack the Karn. So they actually have to stop this in pretty short order, or else we'll just chill here with a Lattice in play. One ring, that's fine. This Disruptor Flute looks comical now. Map, lay out Great Furnace, attack Karn. Just have the vaguest shred of hope here. I mean, even if I answer this, they have a one ring. All right, I'm gonna scoop. I know when I've seen enough. Good games, yeah. Narrow margins in that one, and I think if I knew about the Emrakul or I don't know, just had a little bit more reps with Painter, I think I could have pulled that one off. I will say that's like a classical bad matchup when Mystic Forge with Vexing Bauble was like at its peak. It was, I mean, it had to be like a 10% or less win rate for Painter. I mean, it was a nightmare matchup and it's still rough, but that felt pretty winnable. And I feel like I said, if I just had more reps, if I was just a better player in that matchup, I think I would have won that one. All right, this looks like a keep. Mana situation's a little rough, but this could be a turn 3 win. Eldrazi. This looks like already like a Thought Knot Seer, which would be crazy. Yep, turn 1 Thought Knot. Wow. Probably take Welder, maybe take Grindstone. Engineer might have to get a bridge, but they have that card that can exile artifacts. Wastegate Battle Mage. Okay, Grindstone is gone, so I will have to find an artifact. Well, there's the artifact. That also trades really nicely with Thought Knots here. Could be another Thought Knot here. Crazy. Well, this is a really big high roll for my opponent. I think they have to take Dragon Engine, yeah. Okay, another mountain. I'll play the mountain. Gives them perfect information, but I think I just have to. And I'll grab, with a blast in hand, I'll grab Painter. Painter would wreck their mana too. So I can have 6. They know my hand. No blocks. Take 8. Okay, a welder. Play that out. Looks like I'm going to have some chump blockers. And then off this engineer, I'll get bridge. And again, I can have 6. They know my hand. I guess I can attack with these two. I'm guessing they just have more lands. I'll take 4 and just block 1. Okay, Painter. So this will decimate their mana. So that's pretty sweet. And then I can get in the bridge. I can kill one of these. So I'll go to their upkeep. That was a heck of a top deck. Kill one Thought Knot. I draw a card. Another welder. Penalized for waiting till the upkeep. But yeah, now Ugin does nothing. Eldrazi Temple can only tap for 1. And this taps for the same. So Painter's Servant and Eldrazi versus Eldrazi is such a strong card. And here comes Ensnaring Bridge. They'll get their mana back. But now with all of these active goblins, I just don't think there's anything they can do. I think the only thing they're going to be able to do is get Fleshraker and then use Fleshraker to ping me to death, which I'm very close to death if they try that. Okay, Thought Knot Seer. So maybe I'm supposed to just Pyroblast this. Maybe I'm supposed to just let them take this card. If I Pyroblast this and draw a card, They pretty much just get to take it. I'll just let them do this. All right, I really need another artifact because I want both Bridge and Painter in play. All right, the best artifact I could have possibly found. I will take that for sure. All right, so I will be holding priority, activate Grindstone, Weldon Painter. Sweet. All right, well, my opponent had a blistering start, but my top decks were really good. So against Eldrazi, Bolt, not great. A Braid can hit Chalice or can hit some of their creatures. I probably want the extra Bridge. I probably don't want all these blasts. This is probably fine. I don't really want Soul Guide Lantern. I'll bring in a Bolt over that. And I'll try this. It'll feel bad if I get a Karn in play and need a Bridge, but I think it's more likely that I'm going to need that Bridge quickly. It's a turn 1 Karn. Ironically, with no Bridge. I'm going to keep it. I don't think I will turn 1 Karn, but good mana. Just don't really want to turn that down. Play the Petal out, and then I'll pass. Snow-Covered Mountain is interesting. And they are passing. Would have loved them to drop a Chalice there. Okay, with Tomb, I think I like dropping the Karn. And then I'm just going to plus no targets and pass. And depending on what they do next turn, I can Lattice Lock. Okay, Cavern. Surely they have a play. This looks like the card that's very aggro, the red card. Okay, it's Glaring Fleshraker. All right, I think I'm going to get to Lattice Lock here. So minus, yes, Mycosynth Lattice, City of Traders, Exile Spirit Guide, Mycosynth Lattice. And then after next turn, I can plus, and the Lattice can block the Fleshraker if I can't produce another blocker. And they're just completely locked out of the game. They can't really activate anything. So it's just that they're 2-2 versus my 6-6. So they're sort of relying on me not realizing that I can do that to win the game. Okay. Plus, target Lattice. Play Urza Saga. I could play out the second Karn. If I did that, I could get like Disruptor Flute or something like that. Don't really know what I need with that. Yeah, I mean, they're just locked out of the game. So no attacks. I also could have attacked and let Karn go to 1. But don't think I'll do that. Don't really know what we're still playing for here. But I don't know, maybe they're like 4-0 in a league and just praying that something happens. Magus of the Moon. I'll plus, target the Lattice. I can actually attack this time with the Lattice. Play Mountain. I will just play the Magus. I feel like that's just going to crush the Dreams extra hard. It's Painter. Plus the Lattice. I can swing with both. It just really doesn't matter. Play my land out. That will buff the Construct. I feel like it was getting to the point to where their out was like my internet connection being lost. So anyway, good games. All right, I'm on the draw. This is a pretty nice hand. Threatens a turn 2 Karn again if I want that. Could also make a more reasonable play of Goblin Engineer, and then I have Painter in the meantime. Turn 1 Ponder, and no Shuffle. Let's see, LED is cool. Not great though. If I play Painter out and I get Wastelanded, that'd be pretty bad. If I go Mountain Go, that feels really slow. Painter could eat a Daze or a Force, But I don't know if I name blue. Maybe I name black. In case they're like Dimir tempo. I will name black. And I'll hold LED. Okay, Tamiyo and Wasteland. Okay, another land coming right on time is nice. I can't attack. I mean, I can, but they'll just block. Okay, not Dimir. All right, so they pass. So they're looking to just crack that clue. I will play Goblin Engineer. See if this eats a daze or if they crack this, try to get Force of Will or something. Stifle. Sure, that is pretty annoying. It does keep them off of cracking a clue, though. So I will take that. So this is probably the Phelia Riddler deck. At any rate, I'm glad I didn't name blue just because I don't want them to be able to go like Force of Will, pitch, Tundra on this Karn. I do like jamming Karn next turn, though, because they can maximum crack one clue. Here's Karn. I probably should have done it post-combat. Okay, crack a clue. Can I have Karn? I cannot have Karn. That's fine. Next turn, I can Karn again and get Grindstone. As long as I don't get Wastelanded, I can make that exact play and activate with LED. So let's see what they do this turn. I will say they've gotten a lot of cards. Okay, so they do have Wasteland. And Prismatic Ending on Painter is also good. I could get that card back, and I can keep them off of cracking any more clues. So I do think I need to potentially play around a daze with Lion's Eye Diamond here and jam this Karn. Okay. So I am thinking I just want to blow up the artifacts. I have Grindstone, or I can get Grindstone. Maybe I don't need to worry about blowing this stuff up. I'll go to combat. Because I can just win next turn. I can get Grindstone and I can get Painter. If they stifle this, I just do this all again next turn. Like I get Lattice next turn. Okay, that's fine. One card in hand. Tamiyo no longer is a card draw engine. Another reason to like Karn is it's good against Tamiyo. Teferi. That's fine. That can't bounce Karn. So no targets. Okay. I'm going to Red Elemental Blast the Tamiyo. Now I'm going to attack the Teferi with Goblin Engineer. Now I'm going to put in Ancient Tomb, crack LED for 3 green, minus, yes, Mycosynth Lattice, and I'm going to attempt to win the game. And yeah, sweet. Okay, against the blue deck, I love all the blasts. All of that stuff is going to be great. I don't think the Snaring Bridge is going to be very good because they have Phelia, which is not very big and can even blink the bridge. I guess they have to attack to blink the bridge. But I definitely want all of this stuff, this anti-Tamiyo, anti-Phelia stuff. I don't think I need to worry about their graveyard with Soul Guide Lantern. I can maybe trim mana sources, Lion's Eye Diamond, maybe like 1 Simian Spirit Guide, maybe 1 Imperial Recruiter. Try that. All right, this hand looks solid. I'll keep. Turn 1 Ponder is a lot better for me than turn 1 Tamiyo when I have no blasts in hand. And then I can play the desk. And if they like try to Prismatic Ending, I can actually Spirit Guide and sacrifice it in response, which is really cool. They might stifle that, but it would still be in my graveyard, which would be awesome. Playing Goblin Welder is just the better play, I think. So I will do that. If they can like Swords the Welder and drop Tamiyo this turn, that would be really good. Okay, there's the Swords. You have the Tamiyo. Another Ponder. Not too worried about Ponder. But they are tapped out of Stifle, so this is a good turn to drop Engineer, probably to get Dragon Engine. They can still stifle the activation when the time comes, which would be pretty annoying. Okay, no shuffle. Well, I guess I'll get Painter then, now that I've drawn Dragon Engine. Right on time. Yes, get Painter. Third copy of Ponder cast on turn 3. No shuffle. Caracas. And Hydroblast, sure. I guess I'm going to make Constructs, especially if they tapped off of Stifle. Okay, I'm happy to see that Mountain, because I really don't want to play the city out just yet. So, yeah, Construct Beatdown. That's really where you want to be versus the blue decks. That's something I didn't really realize when I used to play Painter, is how devastating the Construct game plan is versus blue opponents. Like, it's so hard to trade profitably. You would have to have a card like Dress Down, but that's not a very popular card right now. Okay, a Riddler. They are going to be able to bring that Riddler back next turn if they have another land. So that's a little intimidating. They could also have Stifle right now. So putting the pressure on them seems really important here. Another city is not the worst. I'm going to get Mox Opal. I'll play city. And then I think I'm going to cast Dragon Engine. It doesn't push as much damage this turn. But next turn, I can make this next construct really big. I can make these constructs 6/6s if they don't have any sort of removal. And then that can tussle really nicely with their Riddler. Looks like this guy's getting swords though, which then extra makes me happy that I took the line that I did. Okay, swordsing the Dragon Engine. Interesting. Okay, there's the land. And Riddler. Yep. Okay. Another copy of Grindstone is a pretty nice draw. I'll cast one Grindstone. I'll cast another Grindstone. And I'll cast Mishra's Research Desk. And I'll attack with 2 6/6s. And they go to 3 life. I will sack the desk. I will choose Pyroblast. And I will play City. And blast their Riddler. Force of Will. Pitching Consign. Okay. So I have 2 lethal attackers. Looks like a prismatic ending. It's pretty rough. The Simian Spirit Guide being a 2/2 is actually going to come in really clutch here. Okay, they Wasteland me. And no attacks. Would love to see a Pyroblast off the top. A Braid. A Braid can take this thing down. I think this turn I'm going to cast the Spirit Guide. Because now I'm liking how these blockers are lining up. And the fact that they didn't have Phelia there is amazing. Okay, Tamiyo. Pyroblast. Okay. I think there's absolutely no chance for them now. Target the Riddler. Force of Will. No cards in hand. 3 damage to Tamiyo. They can Caracas it back, but they can't put it back into play. And then the Spirit Guide will sneak in for lethal. Yeah, good games. All right, I'm on the play for the last match. My opponent definitely plays a lot of like artifacts decks. Yeah, I'll keep. I hope to see like a turn 1 Emery. Patchwork. Okay. All right. Goblin Welder backed by Pyroblast seems pretty good. My opponent says 6 matches and 3 versus Painter. Well, at least it's not Dimir Tempo and Dimir Reanimator and oops, all spells. Skateboard's pretty cool here. Taps down the welder, not super relevant. So I probably go Imperial Recruiter for Painter next turn. So I need artifacts. Yeah, I think I go Imperial Recruiter for Painter, and then Imperial Recruiter can chump for a turn on this. Imperial Recruiter, pretty nice. That feels like really old tech, but seems to be working. Just get Painter. And no attacks. If they happen to put an artifact in the yard, Welder could be really important to have untapped. So Urza's Bauble, chump. So I'm gonna cast Painter's Servant. Name White. Urza's Saga. Engineer, and they scoop it up. Yeah. I was gonna get Bridge because Saga would pop and get the Grindstone. But yeah, this is just kind of an unbeatable board state. They need to get me dead way faster. All right, against this deck, these cards all look good. The removal, Bolt, not amazing. What doesn't look good? Again, Soul Guide Lantern. I know they have Emery, but all these blasts are going to take care of Emery, I think. I can maybe chill out on one more Grindstone. And again, maybe just trim a little bit of fast mana, especially LED. Desk feels too slow. Try this. Yep, this looks like a very good hand. I will keep. Turn 1 Chalice would be bad for me. There's turn 1 Chalice. Ooh, a Braid right on time. I do like that. Just play the Mountain and pass. Another Chalice on 1 is rough. If that's the case, I will play Goblin Engineer now and get either Dragon Engine or Grindstone. I'll get Dragon Engine. Is this a third Chalice on 1? Yup. And a Tormod's Crypt is rough. Oh, man. I'll play Painter out. Yeah. It's pretty good. Suppose I could name blue, but I don't really feel like I need to. I'll just name white. I think it's more likely that I should have attacked there with engineer. I think it's more likely I turn on their Force of Will if I name blue than it is that these Pyroblasts will be live when there's triple Chalice on 1. All right, I guess I'm going to combat. Top deck Karn is all I need. Karn can plus, and it would obliterate the mana, and then over the course of 3 turns. Yeah, Disruptor Flute's fine. Probably naming Goblin Engineer if I had to guess. Yeah, because I could cast Grindstone. It would go to my graveyard, but then I could get it back. Magus? Another Painter. I'll play the city out. Cast Painter. Name White. I can abrade 1 Construct. Another Crypt. An Opal. And a Mountain. Not very good. And destroy target artifact. Do 3 damage. This is not going to get the job done, though. They're going to get Skateboard and bash me immediately. Just F6. If I top deck Karn, yeah, there's going to be a game, because I can Karn and get Bridge right away. I get Needle. A little surprised I didn't go for Skateboard. Skateboard could be in hand. Chosen card is Karn. Yeah, that makes sense. Imperial Recruiter. Okay, so I will cast Imperial Recruiter. And then I think the only thing that really makes sense to get is Magus. Cast Magus of the Moon. And then what I just have to do is chump this thing. And then, okay, so I'll block here. Just have to hope that the damage race will get there. Saga, ironic right now. Okay, so another Pyroblast. I'll play this Mountain. This time I'll attack for 3. Then block with the painter, another welder. So this time I think I have to block with the magus and make constructs. So that's going to turn on their lands again. Okay, and they're not attacking because, yeah, actually, if this saga were to pop, I would get a grindstone. Oh, there's grindstone. Well, I guess we have a standoff here, amazingly. Well, there's Karn. Karn is needled, but it's still castable. Wow, good games. Um, yeah, even though it was needled, that was still worth the concession there. So this league felt really sweet. This deck felt sweet. All the wins were kind of one-sided, and then the loss was to a considerably unfavorable matchup, and it was quite close. And I think that if I had more experience in that matchup, like in 2026, I think I could have pulled that off. So I can see how this deck is being piloted to the top of the trophy leaderboard by a good player. It just feels sweet, and obviously I love Painter. I own, I think, this entire deck in paper. Actually, I don't think I own a Mishra's research desk, but like, it's just, how can you not like Painter? It's a classic combo, and so many people love the deck so much. And to see that it's entering an era where it's well positioned once again, and you have options of how to play it at that. You could play like a Sewer Valence Cam version, or you could play this, which I have to say, I think I prefer this. It's just a really cool time to be into Painter. So I was glad to get this league in. Happy with the 4-1, and thank you for watching.